Sauk Village special board meeting Tuesday, June 25th, 2024, 6:29 p.m.
All right, we're going to call the special committee meeting.
Excuse me, Mayor Burgess. Thank you, sir. I need to motion to move up line item 10, new business, the accounts payable. I also need to motion up line item B, petitions, agreements, and action items to the front of the
We're doing a special meeting right now.
Okay,
We're not doing a regular board meeting.
thank you.
Call the special committee meeting of the whole to order. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Burns?
Here.
Trustee Carter?
Here.
Trustee Coleman?
Here.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Sack?
Trustee Williams. Okay. All right, first item, the only item we have, discussion and presentation. Mr. Village Administrator Kenneth Johnson, you will present to us the AIC service presentations and IT recommendations. Are these the ones that you had before?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pass them out. I don't know if you. Yeah. There you go. Yes. Oh, that might have been my copy. Go ahead. Let's make sure everybody got it. Is everybody down there have one? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, trustee services.
Okay, wait, can you, okay. So Steve did not, wait, but that mic's not on.
Hello?
Hello? Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor. By way of introduction, my name is Stephen Mack. I am CEO, owner of AIC Technologies. We are comprehensive technologies. I am Stephen Mack, CEO, owner of AIC Technologies. We are a full-service IT services firm. Been in business continuously since 1993, and we service mainly enterprise clients locally, regionally, nationally, as well as internationally. And so what I'm going to do is we've given copies of the presentation. I'm going to do the overview introduction, and also by way of introduction, introduce you to Mr. Victor Treadwell, who is the CIO of AIC Technologies. So with that being said, we'll just get right into it, starting with the overview. AIC Technologies entered into a consulting agreement to provide an IT technology assessment on behalf of Sauk Village in November of 2022. During this time, AIC delivered a cost-benefit analysis in collaboration with AT&T. AIC followed up with recommending upgrading the network equipment in January of 2023. The results of our assessment and recommendation were given to the prior IT firm that was proven to be inept in implementing the required network upgrades on behalf of Sauk Village. And so a year passed in between there. AIC was eventually requested for an RFP in 2024 and proceeded upon awarding of that contract to do a deep dive, what we call a deep dive discovery. Deep dive discovery of the network, as no documentation was provided by the previous IT companies. In April 2024, AIC worked with AT&T and evaluated the network needs for the varying departments, meeting with the department heads, and discovered that the immediate need for network upgrades and repairs to meet the current software requirements, mainly for the heart of the operation, which is in the police department and administration teams. The IT infrastructure is very outdated, 20+ years. Wasn't designed to support the current commercial operations. Rather, the decades-old equipment would not support most residential applications. The outdated IT infrastructure lacks a dedicated technology stack to support the police, village administration, and community center, the implications of which impact the entire system if the internet services fail and the police department. Many critical systems are chronically unavailable. Because of the lack of speed capacity that the current Comcast service cannot provide due to the lack of throughput. That's the situation that we came into. There are several items related to the security that also need to be addressed, as the village lacks a disaster recovery plan with inefficient storage and insecure privacy malware protections at the desktops. Cybersecurity needs to be implemented to ensure that the village and the staff are operating in a secure manner that meets best practices for current environments and satisfies the criteria for many of the third-party software providers, as well as very important insurance requirement compliance that calls for multi-factor authentication, which this current network cannot support. And so we have met, and as we described earlier, did a deep dive. We met with the police department chief, we met with the public works chief, as well as the fire department. And again, the most important departments is this department, or this building, admin, and the police. Everything that comes into the village in terms of internet mainly comes in through the police department. And so during our deep dive discovery, again, with no prior documentation, no handoff, no anything, we had to do what we needed to do to ascertain information to come with solutions. And during this same time, we're confronted with trying to maintain or trying to keep the systems going in their current state. So part of that is the very important entering and retrieving data from the DACRA ticket system. This is specifically for the police department, preparing for local adjudication court through DACRA system, retrieving official electronic evidence from evidence.com system, transferring official documentation from evidence.com to the state's attorney's office, responding to subpoenas in the state's attorney's office, responding to discovery requests from the local and federal governments, drafting, approving, retrieving reports in the Spillman CAD system, which is a very essential system for the police department in court matters. Connect the police department to other buildings to the internet phone system with the ease of use. Combining the servers and setting up replication between the police department and the admin buildings. Setting up necessary security profiles to prevent unauthorized file access. And so those are some of the critical issues for the police department. Now in this building here, the administration, very critical administrative files are being housed on a Windows 10 workstation on a shared drive, totally insecure. One of the things we were confronted with when we first came is a constant disconnecting of the old drive. And of course, you know, we had to do a discovery on that and to find out that although there was a server installed here, it was not activated, it was not secured or utilized for very essential financial data. And so with that, we will set up necessary security profiles and prevent unauthorized file access to the drives. We upgrade, we will do the upgrade for network switches, for the firewall, and to accommodate software requirements. And again, we're talking updating the network that hasn't been updated in over 2 decades. So therefore, you cannot expect to have efficient operation from an old network, 10/100. Again, you know, there's faster internet speeds on your home internet. You see the commercials, gigabit internet all the time. Village does not even have that. So what we've done is to evaluate all of these critical issues, deal with the critical issues first, as well as implement the project of which we initially recommended. So I'll go down to, so the project, and it's further on in your package, but let me come back to the budgetary on that. I would direct you to look at, where the AT&T one? There's some pages on there from AT&T. Get it on that other folder, because it's not in here. I see DACRA. Okay. If you look in your package, you will see AT&T Business Welcome to Sauk Village. Does everybody see that?
We don't have that. No, we don't have that.
Okay, make sure they
I don't have it right now.
Okay, we'll make sure you get this, because this is very important.
Sir, what you're reading from, is that the deep dive report?
This is the network upgrade report.
Okay, could we have a copy of that so we can read along with you, because it's very extensive.
I was just reading from what I'm presenting. I was just reading verbatim from what I presented to you from page 1. So I'm not sure what you're referring to. What I read, you have.
Okay, so where are you now, sir?
I'm just directing you to this document, which was stated that you did not have, so that you can follow along.
Okay,
The
so,
front page of the document says, "Welcome to Sauk Village, AT&T Business." Right here. If you don't have it, we have other copies of it.
and what I'm looking at, this is what you're reading from?
No, he's
That's what I've already read from, sir.
That's what you already read?
Yes,
Okay,
that's what I opened up with.
he's reading from
Page
this
1.
Trustee.
so.
Trustee.
Respectfully, all I have is under bullet points, I'm having goals, specification, recommendations, network, pricing options. Is that where we are now?
Did you just get one of these?
No, I haven't gotten it yet.
Here. Give that to him. Did you get one for another phone? No, I'm not just saying. Okay. No, you can have mine. He's got it.
All right, thanks.
What we're reading from right now, because this is very important to where we are right now today.
All right, thank you.
Okay? So, this is resulting in the AT&T, what they call, does everybody have this document, number 1? This is the one?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay, so the next page, this is the new service that's coming in. It's called AT&T Switch Ethernet Service on Demand. And it's a lot of techie talk, but we're not going to get too technical with it. I just want to point out that if you go through the next couple of pages, you will see a diagram. You will see a diagram that says Sauk Village AT&T Switched Ethernet Network on Demand, Internet and Voice. It's a diagram. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So, this is expressly what it is that AIC consulted with AT&T upon doing the consultative agreement with Sauk Village in November of 2022. We collaborated directly with AT&T, and we reported to the village administrator at the time, Mr. Anthony Fitch, our findings. Our findings were subsequently given over to the other service provider who represented our work as his work. So I want to put that and make that perfectly clear for the record that what is being implemented right now is what we recommended in 2022, that we were then removed from the equation. You had a whole year with another service provider, which obviously they could not implement, because if they did, we would not be sitting here and I would not be talking to you. So I will make that very perfectly clear, right? So this is the solution that we collaborated with, helped design, and work with AT&T. 2024 subsequently awarded the agreement, and as it were, this very said AT&T network is being implemented as we speak. And so as part of our deep dive, quote unquote, discovery, we have been meeting with AT&T. We have been doing a lot of things in the background. So many things that, number one, I was here last week, I heard many comments concerning what it is that we're doing. We were onboarded in April of 2024. We were onboarded. We never got any onboarding policies, procedures, or anything of which now we're supposedly being held accountable for, or implicated that we're doing something that we're not supposed to be doing. So, once again, we've implemented this for the benefit of the village. You cannot conduct commercial operations on a modem that's 20-something years old. Doesn't even make sense. But this is what we have confronted, and so we went and did the deep dive. And we are in fact implementing this service. It is a fiber service that will, in the long run, be more cost-effective, more efficient, has requisite redundancy at a cheaper price than an inefficient Comcast service. And to that point, Comcast is charging $5,000 a month for inadequate service, which we're saying the internet is slow, downtime, so on and so forth, right? And then this service here will be exponentially faster at a cheaper price. And so this service was designed to replace the Comcast service and to give you requisite redundancies and operating efficiencies of a commercial operation. And so this is what this is. There's a connection between the police department, the administration building. We will also connect fire department. We will also connect the community hall and public works, such that what this network is akin to a campus area network, much that you would have on any university, where the buildings are interconnected. If one building goes down, another building can come online through a virtual connection, right? So this is the AT&T service that has been sitting here. This service was activated in January of 2024. The village has been billed for this service that has not been activated until this weekend, as a matter of fact, and we had to activate this service on an emergency basis so that we could cut over and the village would continue operations, because the village was down hard with the Comcast service, and quite frankly, we were compromised with equipment that we did not have administrative rights to. So the deep dive in question is to get the network to a point where it can be managed. The network, as we came into this situation in 2024, it's an unmanageable network situation. You know, it's like, I want performance of a 2024 car, but I've got a beater. It's not gonna perform. Right? So there are steps that need to take place to get the village to where you're going to get, number one, a return on the investment, you're going to get the operations, and you're going to get the security that's needed. So that's the background. We although we're a new official vendor, we were very familiar with this because we did do this in 2022. There's a letter in there, email copy in January of 2023, stating that the system, the network was outdated then. It was outdated in 2022. So I just find it curious that even though this project was implemented in January, that nothing was done to date to address the internal network. You know, it didn't quite make sense, but be that as it may, that's the situation. So I want to come back to now this page. I want to come back to this, the original write-up. And
Excuse me, sir. Could you hold that up again? I don't think I have it.
just the beginning proposal.
Grade, okay.
Proposal. I just wanted to give you the background regarding the AT&T business that was recommended, that has been implemented, and is in process. So, and not only has it been implemented and in process, the village is being billed for it. So the current situation is that you're still paying for Comcast service, but you're also paying $1,500 a month for service that's not being implemented. So for me, that doesn't make sense. So that service needs to be implemented. It cannot be implemented with this old network. It's just not going to happen. So either we're going to pay double, you're going to pay AT&T because the contract has been signed, the service is going on, the billing is, each time a building comes online, the billing also comes online, right? So right now, the village has been billed $1,500 a month since February for a service that has not been utilized, not one day. So I know there's a lot of talk concerning budgetary, but to me, that doesn't make sense. And so I want to also give Victor opportunity to speak on some of the works that we've been doing. And right here, I stopped up. Some of the goals and then some of the work that he has been doing. And oh, by the way, the work that we've done is too extensive to put on any one invoice. Any work that we do, we do a report. We send our report to the village administrator, so we don't do anything in a vacuum. Everything we do is 100% transparent, right? But I don't know your back office process or how you conduct your business. This is my first time even addressing you, meeting most of you, but it was quite interesting for me to hear concerning myself and my company when no one knows anything about me. We merit our business. We've been in business for over 20-something years. We've done clients from Procter & Gamble, Apple Retail, enterprise clients. So we're not a fly-by-night operation who don't know what they're talking about. So I just need to make certain things very clear. So, Victor, when you want to help me out?
Hello, everyone. My name is Victor Treadwell. I am the CIO of AIC Tech. I have an intensive background in the IT field with got my bachelor's from DeVry University in Network Communications Management. I have my Cisco CCNA certification. I have a graduate certificate in Information Security from Keller Graduate School of DeVry University. I have my master's degree from DeVry University, Keller Graduate School of DeVry University in Network Communications Management with a concentration in Information Security. What I've been finding here at the Village with my discovery is the network is very insecure. We have open shared file drives that's populated through the network that anyone that's connected to the network can obtain those critical files. The server that's in the police department and over here in the admin building does not communicate to one another. It should be able to have communication with single sign-on, and one server should be used for redundancies, for backups and recovery. From our findings that none of that has been done, and over the past few weeks, we have T100 switches that cannot get up to a gigabit, that has been very intermittent and losing access to Spielman, OnTech for finance to do their work, for the front desk to process payments, and so forth. What we needed to do with the network being intermittent in this past weekend, the ports has failed, which as the switches was not coming back up. We cut over into the new ADI network of the AT&T and implemented the switches for the village to be able to operate on a day-to-day basis and without having any phone issues. Currently, the past several weeks, phones has been dropping, intermittent, haven't been able to process how they need to because of the failure of this network. Since upgrading, we had AT&T to come out to that circuit that was ran from the prior MSP, and the wrong cable was actually on the device to turn up. Should have been a multi-mode fiber. They had a multi-mode fiber, but which is a single mode. We took care of that issue and was able to get the new network implemented, and speeds have been terrific. We're still in the back end making sure we take care of the cybersecurity issues and the domain services because we don't want to be vulnerable for any malicious attacks or anything out there. Things have been looking good on the network so far with the cutover. I haven't had any issues from anyone up front. Got everyone back into Spielman. There's some other third-party things I need to reference so we can make sure we are lined up with. But so far of this network of the village, look like we're going in the right direction.
Okay, so with that being said, the ADI has been implemented and we have in fact activated it and for the benefit of the police and the admin. Now in the future, the other part of this project is to connect the Public Works, Fire Department, and the community center. Currently, the fiber is outside of the community center. We will be on our weekly call with AT&T tomorrow to discuss the timelines for what they call special construction to get the fiber over to the Public Works and to the Fire Department. Once those are done, we will complete the network and the requisite internal upgrade that this would require to interconnect all of the buildings. So now I want to finish up with the proposal, page 2, where we're talking goals. And so the current goals, we mentioned concerning about the police and the admin, which is the most, in terms of revenue generating departments. In the future is to connect the community center, the Public Works building, and we put some budgetary there with some bullet points, as well as the fire department. Because again, across the board, no network equipment has been updated in over 20 years. And so in its current state under specifications, the current state of the Sauk Village network and systems are currently operating in a very insecure manner. But because we had good dialogue and good leadership from the current village administrator, Mr. Kenneth Johnson, who encouraged us to, in event because of the instability of the network, to come up with a contingency in event of a catastrophic failure, which in fact happened this weekend. So we in fact worked Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday to ensure that the village operations not only continue, but continue in an enhanced manner in which we can now bring about a managed services, a true managed services environment. And so that's where we are in terms of even dealing with all of the third-party providers. And so with that, we put some recommendations for moving forward. And again, it was to immediately swap out this existing network equipment.
Sir, are you reading from the document you gave us?
Yeah.
No, you're not.
You keep asking me that.
Can I see what you're reading? No. May I see what you're reading?
Do you see a page that says specifications? If you're not up,
Okay,
turn the next page. Specifications in red.
okay, but you mentioned the VA, and I don't see his name on the document.
I'm just giving you some background. I'm saying, I'm reading the document and I'm giving you some
But
Some
you mentioned the
embellishment.
VA, and I'm looking for the VA's.
It's not in here.
So you're not reading from this, are you?
If you want to,
I mean, I'm just trying to follow along, that's all. That's all I'm trying to do is follow.
specifications is where I'm at. The current state of Sauk Village Network is operating in a very insecure manner. Currently, the administration and the PD buildings are operating 2 servers, which was mentioned. They're not communicating with each other. There's no backups in place.
Okay, there you go.
Right? The network equipment is very outdated, cannot handle the requirements for backups, utilization of the DACRA, which is a very important platform for the police department, as well as the requirements for the new ATT circuit.
Okay.
Recommendations for moving forward and pricing options. We are recommending a full immediate swap out of existing network equipment and reconfiguration to connect all systems to get village systems working with each other. We are scoping several options below with following equipment. Firewall for security for the police department to connect the police department to the admin building. 5 gigabit network switches. 2 at the admin building, 3 at the police department. All switches are what we call power over the Ethernet that will accommodate a wireless secure network. Currently, all the networks, particularly wireless, is insecure. Now on the network, at the bottom, the network update need to also be coordinated with the following third parties to ensure that everything is cut over in a timely manner, secure manner, and ensure minimum downtime or interruptions of critical services. State vendor who is currently on the Meraki system plugged into the back of the network on the existing edge router. We had conversations with the state vendor today. Configurations and network subnets may need to be configured to be cut over. This may go over the proposed budgetary numbers below and will be billed on an hourly basis. DACRA system to ensure that ports and network security are set up correctly and to allow access inside and outside of the network. The Spielman system currently utilizes its own gateway. The new firewall needs to be correctly addressed and linked to ensure minimum downtime during cutover. Camera vendors and event cameras need their own network and firewall rules. Okay, that's the end of that page. Now with that, we gave budgetary. So I'm on a page now that has pricing options. We work with multiple vendors. We're vendor agnostic. We've given solutions for Ubiquity Networks, for Fortinet, for Meraki, with requisite pricing, hardware, labor, total. In addition, we need to link there's an existing link, I'm at the next drop down, fiber line and cable requirements for the admin and police department. We are recommending updated internal copper wiring for Wi-Fi. Again, everything has to do with speed. So, you know, as networks evolve in a commercial setting, then the infrastructure supporting the network has to also evolve. It's like, you know, you're coming off of the Dan Ryan Expressway onto an off-ramp, and everybody's trying to exit. If you don't have enough lanes, then you're gonna have problems. And so what the AT&T solution does is it gives you enough what we call throughput so that you don't have issues with data transferring or slow internet and that type of thing. because all applications, including for the municipalities, are going to online. So online applications require you to have a good infrastructure, both wired and wireless. And so this is what the fiber line and the cabling requirements are speaking to. There's a direct connection between this building and the police department, which is the net effect. You treat them like they're one network, they're one building. All of the devices are interconnected. And so with that, we need a higher speed fiber line. And this is what that description of an OM3 H-strand line. And we need high-speed structured cabling to support the Wi-Fi network, both in the admin and the police department. And I want to turn it back over to our server to speak about the security, to Victor and the cyber.
We are recommending that the AD server at the admin and the PD building be cleaned up and condensed to a single directory to increase security and to allow the desktop to be certainly managed and maintained for all departments. Currently, the systems are separate and the security is almost non-existent. The systems are also not connected to the Microsoft 365 environment, which would allow for better security to allow single sign-on on two-factor authentications and other options down the line. The initial change will take this. The initial change for this will take roughly 50 to 60 hours, but can be completed by our remote engineers in a timely manner. With our servers, with the servers being able to communicate with one another, meaning that we does not have no redundancy or a failover of data. So if one server go down, it would be critical for operations to proceed on a day-to-day basis. Also, cybersecurity. Currently, there is no endpoint security and no monitoring on the environment. We are recommending this be considered along with the BCRD, Business Continuity Plan and Disaster Recovery Plan. Software and plan for your team to protect sensitive data and back up important systems with cloud backups and file sharing that is compliant to several security standards. In the budgetary ISP service providers, oh yeah. Comcast, currently $5,300 monthly Comcast services to be disconnected upon activation of AT&T services. AT&T ADI Internet is $1,540 monthly, invoicing since February 2024. Pending on integration with upgrades, Sauk Village network designed to replace all current Comcast ISP AT&T ASEOD network pending project. In the conclusion, the network upgrade would allow Sauk Village to move at a higher speed connection and allow for faster data transfer to third-party vendors. The proposed network upgrade will enable the implementation of cellular failover in the event of an outage to the AT&T internet services. Remote management tools will be installed on monitoring and tune the network to be more proactive and significantly decrease downtime incidents. The AT&T project provides the fiber infrastructure that will integrate with the upgraded Sauk Village network to create a campus area network for fast and efficient site-to-site data transfers and allow for growth of the Sauk Village IT infrastructure for many years. Typically, a network refresh occurs about every 6 to 7 years for the future budgetary planning. Yeah, that concludes the presentation. Thank you.
Okay, you have a question?
Yes. Firstly, looking at under pricing options and network update, which one of these options are you're suggesting for us?
The good with the ubiquity.
Ubiquity.
which does everything that the better and the best does as a managed service provider devices, and it just replicate the same difference. The other network would just increase higher speeds, but right here is enough speed to do what we need to do on a daily basis with the Ubiquity.
Okay, is that the total amount for the year, or?
That is for the implementation of all devices, networking, hardware, configs, and even techs on site doing what they need to do.
Okay, will this be a monthly payment, or is this a total payment?
This is the total.
Total.
Depending on how it's a project, depending on how it's agreed a payment, that's how it should be agreed upon. But this right here is the total for each deployment of the different systems. So we have Fortinet and Meraki as well.
So, but you're suggesting that Ubiquity, right?
Yes, the Ubiquity is capable of doing all of the things that the village need to do.
Okay. Also, under fiber line cabling requirements?
Yes.
All right, for descriptions of materials, labor, and total, you got a total of roughly about $15,000, maybe $16,000, correct? When you add the both up? Okay.
Yes.
Is that monthly or annually, or
No, all of these are one-time.
one-time fee?
Right, this is the upgrade. It's like the project. It has nothing to do with the managed services. This is going to allow us to actually now manage once it's upgraded. Currently, there is a fiber link underneath the parking lot between the police department and this building. So there is an existing fiber cable, but again, it's dated, and so it doesn't match with the current speeds that's required. This description of OM3 8STR line gives us kind of like a 8-lane highway, if you will. So it's going to allow data transfer without slow speed between or slow connections.
Are there any other fees?
Not for the upgrade project.
Okay. Are there any other fees?
So what we're speaking on right now is the cost budgetary to upgrade the network. Okay, it's just like you're doing any other thing, right? You got your monthly fees, but now I have a project. I want to do a room addition. Well, that's a one-off type of a thing. You're not paying it every month. It's no different here.
Okay.
The equipment needs to be updated to support the current networking requirements. Once this is implemented, you leave it alone. It's going to be good. We're saying 6 to 7 years, but realistically, this will carry you a good 10 years.
Okay.
Because what this AT&T service does is what they call internet on demand. So once the initial service has been completed, couple of years, we need more speed. Well, we don't have to do a whole new project. What they call, we just throttle it up.
Okay. All right, so I'm understanding that this would be the cost for us to get us up and running, correct?
Efficiently, yes.
Okay. After we're up and running, are there any fees?
Well, we have we got to do the managed services on top of it.
Okay.
So that's already been agreed upon via the contract. So I don't know what else fees you were talking about, because the service still has to be managed.
Okay.
There is for instance, with this service, there is a customer portal that needs to be managed. And so these are the things that we do on an ongoing manage. So there's the project on the one hand, has nothing to do with the managed services on the other hand. This allows us to have a network of which we can put managed services tools onto so that we can do monitoring everything.
Okay.
So this is a project.
Okay, it's a project. Do we have any idea of a monthly expense?
It has nothing to do with the monthly expense.
Are there any monthly expenses?
Sir, we have the managed services. Yes, there's monthly expenses.
What would you?
There is no set managed services fee.
Okay, well,
It's based upon hours worked and tasks that were completed.
okay, well, so far, we're looking at some, we have you on our accounts payable. What I'm trying to determine is what can we look forward to once you're up and running as to how much we will be paying out monthly on our accounts payable. Do you,
That's not what our contract states,
well, what does your contract state?
that we will, we have a not to exceed
I'm
on
sorry.
that. Our contract does not state a fixed cost, right?
Okay, well, sir, I'm looking at, right now in accounts payable, a total of roughly $17,000 a month. When I add that for 12 months, that comes out to be $204,000.
That is not $17,000 a month. If you look prior to that,
Well, it's for 1 month. Can I expect that every month, or
No.
what can I expect monthly?
no. Once again, let me backtrack. The managed services cannot be implemented until we do the upgrade, of which now hours will be reduced. Because there was no documentation, and at the request of the department heads, we were requested to be on site at 8 a.m. We worked weekends, we worked after to do what we call the deep dive.
And how much does that cost?
That is, you got the invoice for it.
Okay, so it's,
So that's not every month.
okay, so you say it's not
It's
every
like
month.
anything else. You work overtime. I work 40 hours this week. I work 60 hours next week. Well, it's gonna be two different pays.
Okay, but once we're up and running, maybe you would have an idea as to how many hours you will have to work once you're up and running.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I
how
don't-
long you say you've been doing it over 20 years? I mean,
Right.
you gotta have some kind of idea, some kind of ballpark figure. Give me the highest.
I'm
What's
not
the
here
highest
to
you-
talk about ballpark figures. We were here specifically to talk about this proposal, not hypothetical ballpark figures based off of something that I say here now that you want to call and make me accountable for. Well, you said in the meeting it would be 6,000 if I got calls that turned to be 8,000 for any given month. That is not how it is.
So you can't tell us how much it'll be? Or you can't give us an idea as to how much it'll be?
Again, I'm
I guess
addressing
not.
this.
Okay, well, I'm not gonna keep going. Thank you.
Trustee Johnson.
I have to apologize. I'm sorry for his behavior, but it clearly states in your contract.
Trustee, I don't need anyone to apologize for my behavior.
I'm speaking, sir, so I'll wait because I thought I had the floor. I
Yeah, but
asked
then
the mayor
you're out of line,
for
Trustee.
acknowledgement. No, I'm not. I'm correcting and answering your
Okay,
question,
all right.
sir. I'm sorry, AIC. I have a copy of your contract right here. And it clearly states in the contract, you'll be getting paid $150 per hour, all other staff not previously included, and then it will be billed at a rate of $150.
That's not a fixed cost.
Thank you. So I apologize for that.
But
You're asking me questions that have already been so stated that have been in the contract, that if you have not read it, then you want me to explain, to give you a fixed cost. And I'm telling you, for the third time, there is no fixed cost. That was not in the contract.
All right, before we keep going back and forth, does anyone else have any new questions?
Yes, I do. Thank
Trustee
you.
Burns.
Thank you. I'm sorry, sir. I tried to get what was your name?
Stephen Mack.
Mr. Stephen, that's called Stephen, not Stephen? Okay. Mr. Mack, thank you so much for the presentation. Now, I have quite a few questions for you. I'm looking at the timelines that you discussed. You said that in 2022, you guys were here with AT&T, and you did a discovery. You went through the process to see what our village needed. Now, I know that we did a $6,000 invoice with you guys back in 2022. My concern is this. If you was here in 2022, and you did all of this deep diving then, you did the research then, you understood what we needed then, so you're back again 2 years later, you're doing the same deep diving that you did then. You're still working with AT&T as you did then. And our systems have, the needs of our village hasn't changed. So if it was needed then, what was the point of coming 2 years later, and instead of beginning to actually start the implementation that you deep dived 2 years ago, why wasn't you able to just come into the village and go forth and start the process? And the reason why I'm asking that is because what we're doing is we're getting, again, we're getting monthly, well, not monthly, bi-weekly invoices. Well, we're not, I haven't seen an invoice, but we're getting bi-weekly charges on our accounts payable, $11,000, $13,000 for the, again, what you're saying is deep diving that was already done 2 years ago. Why are we consistently going backwards instead of 2 years later coming in implementing the process?
Hey, ma'am, 2 years ago, it wasn't a deep dive, and it was a consulting agreement with recommendations of what would be best operations for the village through AT&T. You all chosen a different managed service provider company, and they didn't implement nothing.
Okay.
We implemented the ATI circuit on Monday. That's been turned up since January 11. Even the cable that was going to the new AT&T fiber wasn't correct. So the deep diving was us seeing what the prior MSP done, what's need to be done, finding out all third parties, what configurations and solutions they need as well, and where we can be able to take the approach to move forward.
And then you did that in 2022?
We did that now. We did the consulting agreement in 22 for AT&T, which you all went with the other company to implement that's just been sitting there.
Okay, and so that was a $6,000 consulting fee in 2022.
With the best solutions for the village that you all went with AT&T,
okay,
but never implemented, and AT&T still moved forward with the implementing their network.
And so AT&T obviously didn't move forward with AIC because you guys weren't here, but they moved forward with the company that...
Let me break it down for you. An internet service provider is ISP. Mm-hmm. They're going to deliver you internet. They're going to put the device there. They're going to hand it off. It's up to you to figure out what to do with it.
Up to our internet...
No, we are a MSP.
No, I'm saying, you're saying that once we consult and you find out what you need, then at that point it is up to our IT department to continue to monitor,
to implement it.
Got
to make sure configurations, to make sure port opens, make sure the gateway and everything has been configured.
Okay.
So after you all chosen an MSP to implement the new ISP internet service upgrade, it's just been sitting there since we came back.
Okay, so obviously it's been 2 years past. Mm-hmm. You guys have been here now since what, January?
April.
April of 2024. Okay.
This year.
So you've been here since April of 2024 this year, and you've done the deep dive, correct?
Yes, we found out all third parties. We found out what all switches here. We found out what all devices was in still. We was expecting that it would at least been upgraded, but nothing happened.
Okay.
We found nothing but vulnerabilities. We have a workstation that's have a shared drive for finance that's populating over the network that should be on the server with administrative privileges, whereas who can access what files, who cannot see what. Everything is unorganized since we came back.
So it's pretty chaotic.
Yes.
If that would be a good word.
Been putting out a lot of fires.
Okay, so my question to you guys is this. Obviously what we have been doing is getting different companies come in promising OT companies. We've had plans, we've talked to AT&T, we've talked to Comcast, and obviously these companies have not implemented the plans. That's what you're saying, correct?
No, when it comes down to internet, that's like your house, right?
Yes,
When you
no,
hit
what
the demarcation point,
right, but what I want to
they're
make
gonna
sure,
leave.
I want to make sure I'm understanding. So we've hired IT personnel
Yes,
to come in and implement the game plan that we have with AT&T and or Comcast
from 2022.
from
Yes.
2022. None of that work has been done according to you, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
We just turned up the circuit that's been sitting and being billed for since January on Monday. And they are still have scheduled on their projects to go. They already did a handoff to the admin building actually as well. So
Okay.
next is the community center, then it's the fire, and then it's going to go to public works and also those two pump stations.
Okay.
If you're not prepared for them implementing, they're going to implement and still bill.
So my question is, our village administrators, obviously you're working very closely with them, correct?
That's who we send our reports to, the village administrator,
So you
the mayor.
have been sending reports to the
Yes, there
mayor?
are. Everything that we do, and every recommendations, there are reports behind it
Mm-hmm.
of solutions of what we've done, and even day-to-day operation issues.
Okay, so I'm going to request the same reports that you have been sending to the village administrator, the mayor, and whomever. The trustees will request that same information as well. So my concern is this. Obviously, this project that you guys have to embark on sounds pretty huge. Would you say?
I can spin a network up in my sleep. I have a master's degree, bachelor's, certifications.
Okay,
I
excellent.
enjoy IT.
So what I need from you guys, because what we're going to need now, because at this point, we've had several IT companies come in. We've had several presentations from AT&T, Comcast. And you've been here since April, and we're just now getting a presentation from your company. So the truth of it is, we have not had any idea of any type of plan or anything that you plan to do to get us in the 21st century operating. So this is our very first time hearing of how you plan to move this village forward in our IT area, correct?
Yes, because we had to do a discovery. We had to find all vulnerabilities. We had to see how things were set up here, and we even had to see which route we was going to go in for to turn up the circuit. As you can see, we even have good, better, and best with an option you can choose from.
Right.
And all of them have good solutions to do what need to be done for the village.
Excellent, I appreciate that. But again, this is our first time hearing about it. And you've been here since April. So you've started some type of implementation, and I guess you've been doing this since April of 2024?
No, we have not done any implementation until it was an emergency. The switches that's over 20 years old had port failures on them on Friday. They was not going to come back up. If we wouldn't have put those switches in, internet wouldn't be working today, payment processing wouldn't be working in the front, police wouldn't be able to access Spielman and pull up reports or anything like that. So we saved operations.
And that's excellent. I'm not disputing what you have had to do. What I am asking is that you guys have been here since April of 24, and no one has come before the board to present your plan or your strategic, the strategy in which you plan to implement all this. Now, what we're going to have to do, really moving forward. Now, you've given us quite a bit of information. I'm quite sure all of the technical conversation that you've given us, I'm sure all of us can't, follow all that. You have a master's degree from Dubai, and you have all that. So what we're going to really need to do is work very, very closely, because you have to understand at this point in time, we cannot just go off of these presentations. We can't just go off of what people are saying, because we have seen the results of that, which you guys are saying zero. We've sat here for years, and the results are zero. So now, what we're going to actually need, we're going to have to actually work very closely with you guys. And I'm going to request that you bring AT&T to the table. I'm going to request that you guys...
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm talking. I'm sorry. Please. Please, sir. Please.
He had a comment on.
I'm going to acknowledge that, but I'm still talking to the I'm still talking to the gentleman here. I'm going to acknowledge him when I'm finished asking this gentleman questions.
You're going to acknowledge him?
I'm still talking to the gentleman here. Thank you so much.
Wow.
And so you're saying that we're going to actually implement an AT&T setup opposed to a Comcast setup, correct?
AT&T started implementing in January before we was even here.
Okay.
And the prior MSP, usually when you do a handoff, the internal network is ready for AT&T to come in, and all we're supposed to do is plug in. It shouldn't be AT&T, then us. It should have been us, then them. So we are actually moving backwards.
Okay, and then you're saying we're still, somehow Comcast is still a part of this situation?
We are taking Comcast off.
Okay, so you're taking
We are moving from Comcast to AT&T. The modems that's actually in the rack are not business modems from Xfinity. So we're operating on households compliance in the village, which is not good.
Okay, so we're going to move away from Comcast. We already have started working with AT&T, but we're still being billed by Comcast.
Yes,
And
been being billed for years, even with the new circuit in January. So usually the prior MSP should have been on the move for the removing the Comcast, knowing that AT&T is coming in.
so my question now is, can we, since AT&T has been here and AT&T has already been working here, can we just stop using Comcast now? Or
After they deploy all of the areas, we still have fire, they running fiber too, public works, and once they run all of the circuits, we don't need Xfinity anymore.
Okay.
I want to add on to that, if you don't mind, that the emergency service, it's not done in a wholesale manner. For instance, we have 4 Comcast modems between the police department, the community center, and the administrator. Currently, the Wi-Fi in this building is running off its independent Comcast modem. The senior center has a Comcast modem for Wi-Fi. The community center has a Comcast modem for Wi-Fi. The police department has a Comcast modem. So this is a phased operation in the fact that no, we are not just presenting, we are doing the work. In fact, we have cut over. So that is not just presenting ideas, we have done the work. And so the next step is, now that we have implemented this emergency cutover, we will incrementally decommission the Comcast modems. This is what this proposal is speaking to expressly, starting with the police department and the administrative and the community center. You cannot take off a Comcast modem from the Public Works building that has no AT&T service in it.
Okay.
You cannot take the Comcast modem from the fire department that has no AT&T service in it. And so when those services come online, then those modems subsequently go offline.
Got it.
Such that eventually all of Comcast services will be discontinued. We will have a higher speed network at a lower cost.
Okay, so that gives us a really good understanding. So we're actually doing dual service right now. We cannot remove Comcast because of what has to be done in order to transition it with into the full AT&T system. Now, the other question I have, obviously, each one of these departments you're going to have to do each department step by step?
Each department is step by step.
Okay, so what we're asking is that you've done the deep dive, you know what has to be done, you haven't started the work. I think you
We have started the work.
Well, my point, I'm going by what, Mr. Sauk?
We have started the work.
Okay, so you say you did.
AT&T
I'm sorry, sir.
ADI circuit
excuse me,
has
let me-
implemented.
Let me make sure I'm following. So let me make sure I'm following. So you said that you did emergency work. Everything has been discovery work, but the actual work that you've done has been emergency. So, okay.
Sir, use the microphone, sir.
Not working at this point.
Okay, so basically what you've been doing is you haven't had the opportunity to actually start the actual work because you've been so busy patching.
No, we have been patching until we had to cut over and do the work to save the day,
Okay,
unless we
so
would
you have
have
been
no
patching.
operations. At first it was patching because, reconnecting to that workstation that should have been on a server. It keep disconnecting.
Got it.
The services are intermittent. You could be in the middle of a payment processing and it just stops. So we have to come in, reset the switches, redo the APs, which can become tiring knowing that the infrastructure need an upgrade.
Okay.
And then the switches failed over and wouldn't come back on. So we had to do an emergency turn up where now we got the ADI circuit working off AT&T with way faster speed in here now.
Okay, excellent, perfect. Thank you so much for that. So now this is what I need. This is where we are now. You've been patching. You've patched and you've done emergency work because things are not properly operating. So now what we need to know is this. He just said, Mr. Steve just said that each one of these processes are going to have to be implemented in phases. So are you at the point now where you can start phases?
Yes, we can start phasing because
Okay.
we are coordinating with AT&T because they have scheduling dates to install their equipment at each different location.
Okay.
So we would like to be able to correspond with them for the handoff.
Okay, so now you're ready for stages. So you think you've gotten things patched up enough, and
There's no more patches.
Okay,
It's
right. Okay, so
permanent
you've got
fixes.
things patched up to the point, and your emergency implementation to the point where now we're good to go, and we can actually start phases where we can now start implementing and totally changing over our system. Correct?
Yes.
So now upgrading our system. So my question now is this. What we're going to need to have from you guys are your phases.
Okay.
In other words, what I'm saying, I know you have to start. We have different departments: the police, the fire, and admin, public works. And I know that each one of those you're going to have to do department by department.
Yeah, we're just going to plan and coordinate with AT&T so that we wouldn't
Okay.
have a circuit turned up where we being billed and it's just sitting there.
Excellent. So what we need from you guys at this stage is that we need to know, since you're ready for your phases, we need to know what department you're going to start with first. So,
That's driven by the AT&T schedule. Again,
Okay.
if you look at page 2,
page 2 of what?
where it says the
Page two
original
what?
proposal, the original proposal, right? Phase 1, if you will, is being implemented as we speak, because phase 1 is the emergency that has already taken place between the police and the fire department.
Okay, so
So the next one to come online is that AT&T has dropped the infrastructure at the community center. And so on page 2, you would see goals, concurrent goals, scope of current proposals, and then if you go down, future goals.
Okay, I understand.
Because
We just
that's
went
driven by the
right. We just
AT&T
went through the
schedule.
proposal, so I understand that. So what I'm asking now is that now that you think that you're good to go in phases, what area or what first area are you working in right now to get it to the point where it is updated? So now, are you in the police department? Are you working in the community center? Because I've heard two different departments that you're working in.
Police and the admin building are essentially the first, okay, and then the next one after that, I'm gonna let Victor come after that. So the next one, we're working currently in the police and the admin.
It's embarrassing.
Today, as we speak, right
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Phase 1.
So, okay, can we start right there? So, what we need, so he's saying phase 1. If you guys can give us a report of phase 1, a report of phase 1, what you're doing in phase 1, what you're adding and all of that. And we also would need a time frame for phases. Now, of course, it's depending on people's AT&T schedule and all of that. But we need, because you are very well versed, and you just said you can do this in your sleep. So we would need every phase for you to come. Now, right now, we're in the police and the admin phase 1. So we would need a report to the trustees, letting us know that you're in phase 1 and what you're doing in phase 1, and we need a timeline on when phase 1 for the police department and the admin department will be completed. And every phase, in every phase, we would need the same type of report so that we can follow progress. And so that we can see the progress and that we know that the work is being done. Because up until now, 2 years, a long time, I agree. 2 years, we've been told that we should be in the 21st century, and 2 years later, you're saying we're not. So I think that it will be, better for all of us to go phase by phase, know what we're doing in those phases, and give us a time frame of when the phase should end, and we should be getting the next phase and what department that next phase will start in. That means that we're going to have to work. You guys going to probably have to be coming here in committee, giving us reports quite often, phase by phase, so that we can keep up with where we are, what we have, what has been implemented, and how close we are to all of our wonderful upgrades that you guys say we need and that you are guaranteeing that we get. Correct?
Yes, we can do that.
Now, is that
Okay. I mean,
so is that
I don't even see the feasibility of that, to be perfectly.
I understand you don't see it.
No, I
do.
don't see the feasibility of it.
I understand.
Because here, once again, I'm asking, let me finish.
Okay.
I don't see the feasibility of it.
Okay.
Because number one, you want all of this information now, you want all of this process now, and we have not heard from you until now either.
And we haven't heard from you either, and that is our concern. You've been here since April.
But I'm a new vendor. I should be onboarded with the process. If I'm coming
Sir,
to any entity.
I agree.
So,
Hold on, just 1 second. Hold up everything, just 1 second. You've been talking for about half an hour now on this same.
No, I haven't.
Excuse me, I'm speaking. Excuse me, I'm speaking.
The truth of it is, I got the floor. I have the floor.
I'm speaking.
Okay, but I have the floor.
I'm speaking.
I have the floor. I was speaking and you interrupted me.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so.
Because what you're doing is you're going back and forth.
I am not, no, that's
yes,
not.
you are. First of all,
sir, First of all.
I'll ask for a 5-minute recess.
Okay, ask for your recess. Because again,
Second.
first of all, this has been a 2-year, it's a recess.
5-minute recess.
5-minute recess.
You seem like
This has been a 2-year ongoing problem.
This can't get taken care of.
I don't know. Look, you said here, you ain't talking about coming 6:30. I'm just sitting here looking at it. Wait a minute. Yeah, 6:30. See what happened? How you doing? I'm fine. You see what happens when you don't vote right, right? Yeah. We know better. We know better. We know better. I'm voting to not find out.
When she come back, she may be enough. She might give you the $2.
Oh, yeah.
You can't talk to it, nothing. When I first tried it, you can't. Because you can't be cracked.
ask for a motion to reconvene.
Second.
It was moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask, no, I'm gonna ask for consensus. We'll take a chance and ask, are there any more questions in regards to the presentation? Are there any more different trustees have anything else to say? Okay.
Excuse me, Mayor. Because of the time and the lateness of the hour, I do want to continue this, so I would love for you guys to come back so that we can continue to have the conversation about how we're going to break this down in phases.
Okay, that was your comment. 'Cause what I'm asking, is there anyone else? And if there isn't anyone else, I'd like to ask because there was a presentation, because he did tell us the necessity of this particular action that needs to be taken. So I'm asking the clerk, could you please put this on the next agenda to be voted on at the next board meeting, and it can be voted up and down at that particular point in time. Okay, so guys, thank you very
All right,
much.
thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Public comments, all questions and comments were directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on each comment of the agenda items only. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not debate or engage in debate, counter replies, or rebuttals. I'll answer all questions once all comments have been included. Please state.
Excuse me.
Please state your name when you come up to the mic.
Excuse me, Mayor Burgess. I'm going to have to be excused. I have to go to work.
Okay. Okay. You ready? Okay, Francine.
My name is Francine Anderson, and I have a few comments, and they are directly related since this meeting said for agenda items only. I am hoping that we can clear up the mess that we have with our internet servicing and our IT, and I'm hoping that our trustees, although you had numerous questions that were repetitive, that I think anybody and everybody can understand, and I'm at a point that I don't know about other citizens, but I think that as trustees, you all don't want to do no darn work. And I said darn, because you sit here, Trustee Burns, although she left, and I know she'll see it on the recording or see it on the video, but you sit here and directed vendors on what to do when we already have VPs. But then, let's count it again. We've had Chris Williams, we've had that other guy before Finch, and then we had Finch, and then we've had the other Williams, and now we got Johnson, right? Mr. Johnson. So in these last 2 years, maybe things didn't get done because we've had so many VPs that they can't get nothing done because the trustees want to run the day-to-day operations because you are sitting in these meetings giving vendors assignments to do. Somebody make that make sense to me, because that don't make no sense to me. But seeing that you're a trustee, you got the reports, you got the proposal, you already know the scope of services, because when you put out the RFP, I thought you looked at it, Trustee Coleman. But obviously something went wrong, because what I sit here and heard today about this particular company and the IT recommendations sound like you blaming them for stuff that happened 2 years ago. Trustee Williams, you were on the board then. So somebody ain't answering something. I'm kind of confused. And if somebody can answer those questions, y'all can answer it later, because I don't need no answer. It was really just a comment.
David Fields. You know, Mr. Mayor, here in the village, we're living in the black and white TV antenna age. You know, and when we get the opportunity to be able to come into the 21st century with color TVs and cable TV and everything, we got trustees up here that's fighting against it. So many times, it's about the village. Never it's about the village. It's only about them. It's a shame that you all would allow Burns to sit up there and almost prosecute this man. And she don't have a clue as to what's going on. But you all allow her to do that. You allow her to do that. And not just that you allow her to do that, I don't know if you all think that's funny or not. Because it's not. Stupidity has a new name. It really does. I don't have to say the name because you all already know it. It's a shame that it's a game that's being played up there with these trustees. It's a shame. Games people play. That's what's going on here. And that's the ringleader of this circus. She says, not a circus. Oh, yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. And you all should be ashamed of yourself to allow this to go on. Every meeting. And you all give her the voice. You give her the voice. But make no bones about it. We understand what's going on. We know how this game is being played. We know who the main leader of this game is.
Just 1 minute, sir.
If nobody else knows, I know. I definitely know who the main leader is. And just like a house of cards, eventually it comes tumbling down, and it will. Because you all need to stop this mess that y'all doing. Y'all need to stop this. You never think about this village. Everything that you all brought on that agenda is about something for you all. It's nothing about for this village. It's about you all. You want this, you want that. What about the village? Oh, that's right. We don't even matter, because it was said by Trustee Burns, it ain't none of our business. And you all allow her to say these words. Knowing better, especially you, Williams. You know better. I know you know better. I know you know better. It is time for you all to do better, because this don't make no sense. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
David Smith, resident. Just a couple of quick comments. Number one, kind of embarrassed at what just happened. I'm glad we at least have some solid service providers that are willing to stick it out with us, because if this was court and there were witnesses, they would have been considered to being badgered by the attorney, who in this case would have been Trustee Burns. It's embarrassing. I get it that you guys might not be IT professionals or whatever, but at a certain point in time, you have to trust your expert's judgment and their expert opinion. You guys shouldn't be asking them all sorts of technical questions. You're not going to understand it anyway. At the end of the day, what's in the best interest of the village, let me break it down for you, since I'm a tech professional. Without upgraded internet, everything will fail. It's really that simple. Everything is failing right now. because we have internet that might be slower in the back and at the police station than is at your house. Can't say it any more simple than that. It's embarrassing and it's a shame that there's a seat missing right now, because she got to go party. I'm going to just tell you the real. She's in Chicago Heights at Club View right now. Her and her husband, the 25-year resident. It's embarrassing. She can't even state a voter count here because she got a party. And the residents need to know it. Because what's supposed to be most important, the village or a party? It doesn't make any sense. None whatsoever. We got to do better. And you all, meaning the four of the three of you that are still up there, as David Fields said, you all constantly back her up. You have empowered her to do this type of nonsense on a consistent basis. So as long as you support her, you're a part of it. You're allowing it. You're facilitating it. You're just as guilty as she is. And the residents are paying attention.
Okay. All right, since there's no one else, a couple of these were comments. We did sit here for the presentation, and that's why I asked, because we keep going on and on. That's why I asked to have it put on the agenda for next week. We voted up and down, as simple as that. It has to be, it needs to be done, but we have to put it before the board first before we go into any other. Okay. General comments by the trustees and mayor. Trustee Sapp, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Ms. Mayor. The Housing Committee will have a, no comment.
No, you said.
She said no comment.
Oh, okay. And Trustee Williams, you said no comment? Okay. Trustee Johnson?
No comment.
Trustee Coleman?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You know, being in black and white TV era, you know, in other words, the state of this village, technology-wise, is true. You know, and it's been going on since yourself, Mr. Mayor, you've been as a trustee, and even up to now as mayor. And since then, Board of Trustees faces have changed, people have changed, have come and gone. Even the office of the clerk has changed since then. But the one common denominator is you, Mr. Mayor. You're still mayor. Okay. We trustees, we can't make anybody do anything.
Audience, please.
We can't make decisions. I mean, we make decisions as to who get here, but once they get here, they have to do the work. So over the years, Mr. Mayor, I mean, you've seen it. I mean, how can it be the trustees' fault? But that's a rhetorical question. Next is, you know, there's really nothing technical. There's nothing technical about the question a person would ask AT&T when it comes to their phone bill, how much is it going to cost? There's nothing technical about that. As a matter of fact, there's no household in this tundra that does not want to know how much is their bill going to cost. I mean, that's common sense. There's nothing technical about that question. So, you know, so that's all I have to say pretty much. What we're trying to do, we're asking questions on behalf of this village. We want to know how much it's going to cost. We've gone through this so many times over the years. We've been in the black and white stage or prehistoric, whatever you want to call it, stage for over 12 years. Okay, when are we gonna hold someone to the fire? When are we going to hold someone to the fire and make them do the work? When are we going to do it? Okay? Say what?
Okay.
No, I'm not done.
Oh, I thought you said that.
No, sir, I'm not done. Okay. So the bottom line is this here. We're trying to do a job for this village, okay? Whether some people care about it or not, you know. I mean, frankly, it's just some people here who just, you know, they don't really care. They don't really care. The ones that do care are usually at home trying to take care of their business. They're trying to feed their families. They're trying to make a home, trying to make a house into a home. But some people who come here every Tuesday night, you know, they're more, I mean, it's something else. It's something else. So I say all that, well, you know what, without saying it, I'm not going to say anymore. I'm done.
Yes. Okay, okay.
I'm a whole adult.
Okay.
They are dead. I don't, so what?
Trustee.
So what? Say it in the mic so everybody can hear you.
Say it in the mic.
Say it in the mic.
Say it in the mic.
Trustees, let's try to adjourn this meeting. I just have one thing to say in regards to questions, or comments from trustees. And I said this last week, I think I said it twice. We're here to do a service for the people. And if we're here to point fingers and to tell what somebody's not doing, or to make comments to incite other comments to be made, that's not your fiduciary job. Your fiduciary job is to report on what your committee has done, or what you're planning on having your committee do.
This is a special meeting. Mayor, this is not a committee meeting. This is not a board meeting.
Sir, would you please?
We're going to
That's what I'm
comment
talking
only
about.
on
I'm sorry, I didn't
what was on the agenda.
Would you please? Thank you. Thank you. I'm just saying that I'm tired every week. We got people that's pointing fingers and saying that so-and-so didn't do such and such, but then we're not trying to incite anything. That's all you're doing. Why don't we have at least a couple of months that we're not sitting here inciting people to go off to get someone to clap for you because you said something that you've already talked about before you got here. So only thing I'm asking now at this particular point in time, I'm just asking the trustees. Please give me a report on what your committee that you were assigned to do when you became a trustee, rather than what you feel someone else is not doing. Or this person hasn't done that, or this person hasn't done this. That's not what this is for. We're not, the soapboxes are gone now. I know it's an election season, okay, fine. But don't. We have vendors that come to the meetings that are not even doing business with the village and walk out. I'm not doing business with that. I got to go through all that just to get anything done, a light bulb put in or whatever. If we can't be at least accountable for what you were elected for, and what you were elected for is to move the village, not sit up and point fingers, then what good are you for doing that? I'm hoping, because I'm just saying, because the next time we start doing that, I'm going to cut them off, and we're going to take care of business, and it won't be comments. Because at one time it was never comments. When I was a trustee, it was just, what did you do for your committee? I added comments because some of the trustees said, well, we need to say something too. But if this is what you have to say, then we don't need to do that. Because we're not here to put a show on. This is not HBO. I always talk about I'm gonna sell popcorn. Maybe I should. But I'm tired of looking at this village as a joke. People come here and say, oh, there's another this village or that village or what. We got enough of that going on now in the south suburbs. We got things that are coming in to the south suburbs that people would like to do business with. But if we continue to keep doing this, it'll go someplace else. Why should they come here? That being said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It was moved by Trustee Johnson first, okay, and then second by Trustee Carter. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Burns? Trustee Carter? Yes. Trustee Coleman? Yes. Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Sauk? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Motion carried. In 5 minutes, we will start the regular board meeting. 5 minutes, not 15. 5 minutes.
But the contract is already done. You know how much it's going to be paid. He's trying to turn you up. I'm not no IT person. I can I know that. But anybody that's listening to me. Because you had a real job. You talking to people that never had a job. But just trying to figure out the cause of trouble to have something go wrong. That's all they want to do. They just want to make something go wrong. Yeah, so the mayor looks bad. You know, they too busy looking at making the mayor look bad instead of trying to help the building. That's correct. The IT, the guy just told me, he said, the senior center down, he said, that internet rate goes so fast, I ain't gonna be able to use it. He said, you ain't even know it's moving. He said, it's only going so fast. Upgrade.
All right. All right, we're going to call the board meeting to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Burns, Trustee Carter,
Here.
Trustee Coleman,
Here.
Trustee Johnson,
Here.
Trustee Sack, here. Trustee Williams. Here.
Okay. Okay, we go down to approval of the minutes. I'll accept the motion to approve the journal proceedings for the special meeting, board meeting of May 31st, 2024.
So moved.
It's moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Williams. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Burns, Trustee Carter,
Yes.
Trustee Coleman,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Sack, Trustee Williams.
Motion carried. I'll ask for a motion to approve the journal proceedings for the special committee meeting of the whole held on May 31st, 2024.
So moved.
It's moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Williams. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Carter,
Yes.
Trustee Coleman,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Sack, Trustee Williams, Trustee Burns.
Motion is carried. I'll ask for a motion to approve the journal proceedings for the committee of the whole meeting held on June 4th, 2024.
So moved.
Second. It's moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Are there any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Coleman,
Yes.
Trustee Johnson,
Yes.
Trustee Sack, Trustee Williams, Trustee Burns, Trustee Carter.
Yes. Motion carried. Public comment. All comments and all questions and comments will be directed to the mayor. Each speaker may comment on any matter concerning the business of the village of Sauk Village. Each speaker is allowed one opportunity to speak for up to 3 minutes and may not engage in debate, counter replies, or rebuttal. I'll answer all and then respond to all questions once all public comments have concluded. Please state your name when you come up.
I am Francine Anderson, and Mr. Mayor, again, I have comments. One that I would admonish the trustees to please be mindful of the time. We had a 6:30 meeting right before this. It has lasted until 8:30. So, last week we had a lot of discussion about expenditures of money, where you did not want to pay vendors. Today we have embarrassed a vendor, and I'm hoping that you will look at your next accounts payable and please pay the one vendor that you didn't pay her $50 last week, that you would approve that this week, because she's a citizen and she would really not have to be mistreated by the trustee board. And I wouldn't want to see her being mistreated again. The other thing is that trustees, everybody got a job to do. We all know that. And we're not asking you to take on any other job but the one that you've asked for as a trustee. But when you as trustees sit in meetings and give vendors and give department heads jobs to do, then you take them from the importance of what their role is in the respected job and duties that they have. So, you have a VP, or we have a village administrator, whatever you would like to call him. We used to call him the village manager, but now it's the village administrator. Can you put some trust in the person who is the expert and let them do some work instead of you trying to run the day-to-day operations of the village? At one time, you weren't giving suggestions because all the information went to the mayor, to the VP, or to the administrator who brought it back to the trustee board, which made an easy flow of information. But since you're always interjecting, and since you sit here and explain to me about an AT&T bill and wanted to know how some gonna get paid. You sit here last week and you took money off of the accounts payable not to pay vendors. So now which one you gonna do? You gotta not pay vendors, or do you really want to know what the money is? Because I am sure any proposal that somebody gave you, they gave you a cost analysis as a part of that proposal. But you sit here last week and took off a simple vendor that was a citizen that was $50. And that has really been a problem for me.
Mr.
That
Mayor.
you didn't want to pay a vendor
Can I
that
answer
you
that?
called a citizen that was a citizen who, can I get my a couple of seconds back? Thank you. Because the vendor was a citizen and it was $50 and you took that off. You guys really should be embarrassed, not only how you act today, but what you did last week and what you did the week before when you walked out, and when you did that the week before when you walked out, and the week before when you walked out. So you're not really doing your trustee duties while you're giving the other people work to do.
David Smith, resident. I'm going to continue with what Ms. Francine Anderson just said. It's just my opinion, but if you work, you should get paid. It's real simple. I can understand not paying somebody because they didn't do the work. But if you work, you should get paid. It's the law. And I see, let me piggyback off something that Trustee Coleman said last meeting, a few minutes ago. I see a common denominator. And unfortunately, it's Trustee Coleman, because every 2 weeks, he wants to remove items from accounts payable. It's not just the former HR consultant, former or current, however you want to look at it. Last week, there was over $8,000 that was taken from a public works vendor that actually did the work. Can somebody answer and tell me, and not right now, because I don't want to be interrupted, why or what your reasoning was for taking that money off? Because if the work was done, why shouldn't they get paid? Doesn't make any sense. I'm pretty sure all of you, well, maybe a couple of you, have had a job in real life other than this. When you did the work, you wanted to get paid. That same theory should apply here. We got to do better. Bills should be paid in a timely fashion, as soon as possible. If the money's in the account, pay the people. What are we waiting for? So late fees can get added, so the village credit can be messed up, so interest could be added on. That doesn't make any sense if your job is really to watch the money. And as trustees, you really only have two jobs: watch the money and to pass ordinances, other than to run your committees, which the majority of you don't do because you don't have any meetings. So what are you really doing? And I'm not just trying to be negative, I'm only speaking the facts. I don't get up here and lie. If you're not having a meeting, you're not having a meeting. How can you be watching the money when you're letting it steady pile up with late fees? That doesn't make sense in my book. You're giving us, as residents, extra bills. Every time you delay something, as far as the payment goes, we have extra late fees to pay. We possibly have interest with AIC because of the contract that you yourselves approved. Doesn't make any sense. Let's really start watching the money. Let's stay on task and do our jobs.
Anybody else? Okay.
Please bear with me. Seems like he has a mind of his own.
It's my heart monitor, the battery is low.
I turned it off.
Call IT.
We're still on. We still have a recording device. So, but I just wanted to quickly respond to the two comments, because that's what they were. The two comments about the vendors. I'm sure in speaking with the people that made those comments, the board heard you, so I don't need to respond to that. They heard everything you said, and I'll just leave it right there. In regards to your inquiry about paying the vendors. All right, the next item is the mayor's report. Okay, I just wanted to tell everyone, first of all, I went to a few meetings. I think I may have mentioned this at the last meeting we had. I went to a few meetings, and it looks like, and I'm hoping that it does, it looks like the airport, the third airport may happen. I was optimistic, but I was kind of in reserve because the initial money that came from the governor's office went to Rockford. So, but now I'm understanding now that they're moving forward. Congresswoman Kelly actually got more involved. She had her assistant to get more involved. So it looks like maybe it may not go to Rockford, it may come here. And if that happens, then economic development will have an uprising effect in the south suburbs because it's going to be in Peatone, which is not too far away from us. So we need to be ready for when that extra traffic comes through, that we have something to showcase to get people to come through our area. So that's why it's so important that we try to stay ahead of it, because that's something that may happen. The second one is the casino. I don't know how many people feel about it, but I do know what casinos do. What they do is make money. They didn't build that casino, or neither casinos or any casino, on winners. That means people that invest, they did and lost money. And it does have a desert effect on towns that it's close to. So that's one of the reasons why I never got involved in trying to bring the casino to the village, because, as I stated, it's there, it brings jobs. Now, we can still get jobs, but I didn't want it will suck up your assets that you have in the village, like a casino will. So, also, excuse me, I wanted to say that I'm working on something that we talked about before, and it will be brought to this board in regards to this distribution, marijuana distributorship. It is more than just that, but I also told them, people that's working on it, I need a store. And I'm looking to bring a store in first, everything else second. So just wanted to let you guys know that that's what I'm trying to let them know. I need to bring a grocery store, a store that I would shop in and you would shop in for your weekly groceries. Not a convenient grocery store, but a grocery store that's viable where you wouldn't mind doing your shopping each and every week there. So just wanted to say those three things that we are tirelessly working on. I have the staff and everything trying to get these things done during the summer. So if anyone wants to break ground, we can start doing that in the summertime to make that happen. But we're on the move. Hopefully that we can get some of these things done now, or at least get them started. Because if we don't, someone else will. And down the street from where we are right now, they're opening in the other municipality that's just north of us. They're moving and they're bringing other commerce in. So, it's best to be the first one, because if you're second, then you don't have any leeway as far as with the businesses, as far as saying, well, there's one down the street. I mean, competition is competition. But I still like to make sure that because right now, there isn't a store that lets you go into Indiana or all the way to Chicago Heights, a grocery store around. So, just wanted to make that clear. All right, Village Clerk, Mr. Malvin Campbell Pruitt.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I need to bring a couple of things back to the next committee of the whole meeting, if it's okay. We had it on the agenda, these items on the agenda before, but we could not actually hold the meeting. We did have some discussion, but now I think that it's time to come back. The first one, we need to get our codifications done. Even though we have not had that many ordinances, it would still be great to be able to send things for codification, our ordinances rather, for codification at least every 3 to 4 months. And so we're into June now, so we have to decide on a company. And at the previous meeting, I brought forth a couple of companies, but the majority of the trustees were not present to hear the pros and the cons about those companies. I would like to bring that presentation back, not the presenter, but at least share with you the information that he attempted to give in his Zoom presentation, but then also bring back the handouts that were provided. So I would like for that to be on the agenda for the next committee of the whole meeting. And another thing that I would like, Mr. Mayor, I have been talking about electronic meeting management since 2017. What came with the electronic meeting management operations, that's when I suggested that to do that, it would only be correct and feasible and correct, rather, I repeated myself, forgive me, that trustees would then get a laptop. We weren't talking about just providing laptops just to be providing laptops. It would come with bona fide meeting management material so that when they need to reference a particular document, they would not have to go through piles and piles of paper, because it would be in a library that they would have access to. Another positive of that electronic meeting management material would be that our residents would have greater access as well. So that would increase our accountability and our overall ability for residents to see some of the documents that they do not see now. So I'm going to say the same thing next Tuesday if I'm allowed to be on that agenda. But I'll have backup documents with me along with that. And the last thing I want to say, Mr. Mayor, I would just appeal to the residents and the clerks, and the trustees to acknowledge that the 4th of July will take place on a Thursday, and when that occurs, the municipal center will be closed. Even though it's a Thursday, and that is the actual 4th of July, and according to the employee manual, we usually take that day on the exact day. But that doesn't mean that we're closed on Friday. We will be back in business on Friday, but everyone needs to know that the Village Hall will be closed on the 4th of July. Mr. Mayor, that completes my report.
Thank you. Village Administrator, Mr. Kenneth Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. This is my report for June 25th, 2024. Harkening back to the Mayor's comments about the redevelopment group for the casino, full-service restaurant, and gaming facility. We're working with that particular individual, Mr. James Gerzik, as well with some of his folks related to the grocery store. I wanted to update you on the more key project and the redevelopment agreement for Mr. Gerzik. It's in its final stages with a proposed final draft of the RDA having been presented to Mr. Gerzik this afternoon. We met with him from 3:15 to probably 4:30, putting together the action plan to do the following in terms of going through the appropriate processes with all the different stakeholders. I met with Mr. Gerzik and his anchor tenant earlier today, as I said, at the village to finalize the RDA. The significant terms and provisions that we added it. I think it's a very nice deal for all concerned in that regard. And then we will proceed to the zoning board for the next steps. One key change that had to be made to the proposed plans were to bring the plans into compliance with the state of Illinois, considering its proposed mixed-use project aspects of a cannabis dispensary, as I said, a full-service restaurant, cannabis consumption lounge, and a video gaming parlor in 2 of those particular locations. Each has to be a segregated component of the plans, as you cannot serve liquor under current Illinois law, state law, in the same space as the sale of cannabis and the cannabis usage lounge. Makes sense to me. The developer has been advised of this change and has agreed to the change and has collaborated with his personal architect and other key parties to make the requisite changes to bring it in compliance with the state of Illinois laws. Those changes have been made, and we're coordinating with Robinson Engineering to reflect the actual architectural changes to, again, support the compliance. After we go through the zoning process, the final RDA will be brought forth before the board for approval. That will be probably over the next 2 to 3 weeks. As you know, the village has outsourced certain key revenue generating activities and tasks to BNF Construction. That has BNF managing inspections and permitting for new and licensing renewals for businesses, liquor licenses, and various other things, occupancy, reoccupancy. I'm happy to report that as of June 10th, Monday, we have a dedicated representative from BNF that will be stationed in the front of the Village Hall or stationed adjacent in the Community Development room to manage the many requests that are coming in daily, as well as any backlog that has historically existed. I've also recently put in place a comprehensive process where Southland Development works closely with every week with BNF to ensure that everything runs smoothly, in particular when any zoning or rezoning elements are involved with a particular request for service. I've asked our Corporation Council to develop an ordinance that I think is sorely needed in the village. Specifically, the ordinance would relate to the village being able to board up and maintain vacant property so that we can rid the village of squatters and drug houses that have proliferated throughout the village. Based on my understanding, there are a number of properties throughout the village that are vacant and not being maintained by the owners. Those properties are in the process of being identified to be boarded up. We'll maintain them, but the cost of the maintenance will be borne by the property owners. Many of these properties also are not paying taxes either, and as a result, the properties will have tax liens placed upon them, and to the extent that the current owners don't redeem those tax liens, they'll be sold at tax sale. I'm also happy to report that the village will be getting a second dollar store with the addition of Dollar Tree to go along with the existing Family Dollar, which is relocating. Both will be situated on the southeast corner of Sauk Trail and Torrance Avenue. Presently, I'm coordinating with all the stakeholders on securing the group's requisite business licenses and building permits, and proceeding towards a grand opening in the early July timeframe, probably 2 weeks from now. That will focus on marketing and promoting the village to get, back to one of the mayor's comments, a formal commitment from a grocery store investor, which is one of the key imperatives and strategic initiatives of the village. The village has also recently identified and cataloged a number of publicly and privately owned sites that are prime for redevelopment. This list can be updated in real time, and we will be uploading it to our soon-to-be live website when fully ready and deployed, and represents another source of marketing and outreach for the village to attract investors and buyers. The village's website is in the final stages of development with at least 95% of the content submitted from each functional head. Avidity will likely provide me personally with a link to review the website and draft, and I'll be able to catalog, provide any comments and input on finalizing that other 5% before we go live and have it deployed. Avidity contractually will be providing post-sale service and support along with ongoing hosting and maintenance as necessary. That concludes my report. I've been asked to provide the report for Robinson Engineering from Melanie Arnold. The only item on her report out, the 219th roadway resurfacing project has been sent out for bids, which will be opened on July 9th board meeting. It is anticipated that the project will be awarded at the June 23rd board meeting, and construction will begin in late August. That concludes my report.
Mr. Mayor.
Trustee Williams, yes.
Mr. Johnson, Avidity said that we were going to be able to get a copy of the link too before it went live. We'll be able to get that?
I'll send it directly to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, Police Department Chief Malcolm White.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, Village Board. Just a short report tonight. The calls for service report from June 11th through tonight. The police department responded to more than 385 calls for service. During that same period, we made over 24 arrests. I just want to highlight one or two things from the last few reports that originally was not, or we didn't have the opportunity to read to the board. On May 17th, the police department participated in Cop on Top, Cop on Rooftop, where we raised funds for the Special Olympics. This year, to my understanding, we raised more money than we have in past years. This year, we were able to raise over $5,000 with the amount of funds. Thank you, especially considering I was the one who caught sunburn that day on top of the roof.
Okay, sunburn.
I think that's it. We also participated in the ninth leg of the torch run. This year, pretty much our normal runners were tied up, so it fell on the chief to get the torch moving. Since we didn't have an ambulance following me, I decided to ride a bike. But we were able to pass the torch in a timely fashion, and we'll be working on next year. I got to get my mile back under about 9 minutes to keep up with these guys. So,
on a bicycle?
No, running.
Oh, okay.
Running. So yeah, no, we under 9 minutes, me and you.
Okay.
All right, running.
I'll do 8.
Okay. All right, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, Village Board, that does conclude my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Fire Department Chief Stephen Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Clerk, Board of Trustees. For the period of June 11th through tonight, the fire department has responded to 100 calls for service. Only thing that I want to add is that please, as you're cooking, please do not fall asleep. We've had 2 of our elderly residents fall asleep while cooking, and it could have been very, very bad. And as the weather continue to be hot, just make sure you check on your elderly neighbors and your neighbors with special needs. And as always, stay safe and God bless. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. You don't participate in the walk, too?
No, I'm okay.
Our Finance Department Director Renee Lewis.
Thank you, Mayor, Madam Clerk, Trustees. I have no report tonight.
Okay. Public Works Director Dante James.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. We had 49 new calls for service. We shut off over 110 properties that have water that shouldn't have it. Let's see, we removed 11 trees, cut them. We'll be coming back to stump them soon. I've currently suspended all storm drain and sanitation line rotting and jetting at this time. Of course, we painted more fire hydrants. Grass cutting will continue on our end. The sidewalks and the curbs, if you noticed, there's quite a few of them that have been filled with the concrete now and set and everything like that. I do know there's still some street lights out over on 216 between Orion and Merrill. We're gonna try to figure that out tomorrow, but the situation is our bucket truck is down again, and we got a little situation with the pavement with that, but we'll figure it out. If not, I'll just go next door and borrow somebody else's bucket truck to get those lights fixed before the 4th. It's pretty dark over there. I did order more speed bumps, so I know y'all want some speed bumps, but I'm just waiting on them. All you gotta do is call us and just let me know where you need them, and we'll get some down and everything like that. I do want to mention something else too real quick about the streets. You know, if your kids got those basketball rims and things like that out in the street, you just gotta have them put them up, get them out of the street when they're done shooting ball. Because some of them are leaning over, falling literally into the middle of the street. And, you know, that could be a real hazard. I don't want those kids' rims being tore up or nobody getting hurt in that order like that. Let's see. if you can feel the temperature in here right now, it's not really that great. So I'm kind of going back towards what the IT people were talking about. The controls that control the heat and air in this building are 20+ years old. So the equipment that AT&T ran in this building cannot even see the controls to this heating and cooling system in this building. Right now, you just feel the fan. I turned that on. That's really not air. Fire department, they don't have air, and that's a cooling center, right, Chief? I'm working on that. I just got to get the numbers. I'm trying to see what I can do to get that done as quickly as possible. It's been hot, so it's been kind of tough trying to get some contractors out here. Plus, they got to show me some numbers anyway. Community center, 0 air. Those are fans running over there as well. Public works, no air, but you know, we can live with that over there. Let's see what. Oh, okay. But we are getting numbers and estimates from several different contractors, HVAC contractors, on trying to resolve some of these issues. I'm really trying to lean towards just the quickest and the cheapest way to go. You know, that system over there where you at, Chief, that's about 30 grand. And they don't have them sitting on the shelf. It takes 6 months to get them. They got to build them when they are asked for. So we're going to figure out something over there too. What else? Yep, so still got a tractor broke. One of our dump trucks caught fire a couple of days ago, so we're down a dump truck. Hey, so that's gonna put back some of the pothole repairs that we're continuously doing. I usually have 2 crews out, but it'll still be 1, but it's just gonna take us a little longer to get through some of these other areas that need the potholes repaired. If you got a pothole on your block, call City Hall, let us know where it is, and we'll come and patch it. If you have a property on your block that the grass has not been cut, the only way we know these things is we depend on the community to let us know where those homes are so we can get over there and get that eyesore taken care of. Pretty much, I think that's it, Mayor.
Okay. May I please? No, that's all.
Oh, you have a question for me? Okay.
I don't have a question for you, Director, but I do have a compliment. A couple of weeks ago, a neighbor came in and filled out a work request, and your staff responded in less than 3 days. They needed
That was good, boy. I finally got my first compliment, man. Yeah, we're working on it. Actually, 3 days is kind of too long for us, though. We'll get it down to 2 to maybe 1.
I didn't even think it was 3 days because we had problems being able to see as you come out of my development because it's not village property. I don't know if it's the state or the county, but it was all of these high weeds and we couldn't see, and there were a number of accidents that took place up there. She wrote all of that in her notice to you, and as I said, your people were out there, like.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I did drive that, and that is a blind spot over there. We're going to maintain that, so you shouldn't have that problem moving forward. I wasn't aware of that, but once I drove in there and tried to pull out, I seen that, yeah, that's a real serious blind spot. And they fly down, what's that, Steger Road? Yeah, you got to be careful over there. But I'm going to fix those lights and everything like that. Like I said, we're going to try something tomorrow, and hopefully it works. If not, then I'll just have to go to one of the neighbors and see if I can borrow their utility truck and get it done. If not, ComEd's coming. So, but that's it for my report. I've been trying to tell y'all this for 2 weeks. That's my report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Williams.
Did you happen to get a notice that there's a situation at the Crossroads apartment, a sewer backup? One of the residents contacted me. I left a message here. She said it was very, very serious. It was causing a sickness in her home. Did you get that message?
No, I never ever got that, but that's private property, and they're responsible for doing it. You know, that's funny you said that, because I get a lot of calls from Crossroads about their windows being broke, doors not closing. We don't, that's private property. That's
Let her
not
know
public
that. I'm
works.
glad you said that. I will let her know that she needs to contact her landlord, not the building.
Yeah, not us.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. James. Senior Advisory Committee, Chairperson Emmett Farmer. Before you guys go, I do have one comment I want to say while you guys are still here. Talking about the police and fire. Go ahead.
Oh, you want to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor, Board of Trustees, village clerk, all the department heads, all the residents. Today's report from the Senior Advisory Council for Tuesday, June 25th for the executive board meeting. Having, I guess, been able to report in about a month, so things are a little behind. Breakfast bingo is the same, first and third Fridays, 11 to 1. Senior Fit is still every Tuesday and Thursday, 10:30 to 11:30. And game night is from 4 to 8, and that's every second or fourth Friday. Now, we do have a bowling event. The last one here was attended real well. So they decided to have another one, which is a month later, but it's tomorrow. So you can contact Deborah Coney or Carol Coleman. Maybe they will allow you to come. It's only $10 for games and shoes, and it's at the Stardust Bowl, 1330 Sheffield Avenue in Dyer, and from 1 to 4. So, and then you seniors to 1 to 10. Like I said, we haven't been able to report for about a month. Our next casino trip, though, is scheduled for July 24th. So you might want, if you want to go on a casino trip, it costs $40, $15 play for voucher, $15 play voucher, then $10 food voucher you'll receive at the casino, and the money is due by July 14th. So you do at least have a little over a month for that. And also see Deborah Coney or Carol Coleman. Of course, you can see me, and I can also get you signed up. And our next committee meeting will be Thursday, July 11th in the Senior Center, 5 p.m. And all are welcome. And just want to say to the Director of Public Works there, it's hot in the Senior Center. And yeah, I'm ready to start heading for my renters, I'm sure. So whenever you all get something going, thank you. Yeah, all right. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay, what I wanted to say real quickly before you guys left about fireworks. I forgot to put it on my report, but 4th of July is coming, it's around the corner. We do have signs out, but the police department will be issuing tickets if they see fireworks, and those tickets start at $750. They start at $750. So don't be caught with the match in your hand and the fireworks and the other one. I'm talking about that wasn't me. Yeah. So we will be actively, and they will be, all they do is look up. So I just want to let everyone know that we will be prosecuting or fining people at $750 if they get caught shooting fireworks. No one is exempt from that. Just wanted to make sure everyone got that. I wanted to make sure the chief heard that. He sees the signs out there, but I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that it will be enforced. And that's not just on 4th of July. At any time you see fireworks go up in the air, or they catch someone doing fireworks, it is a $750 fine. Good. You get ready to say something?
Yeah, 2 things. I wanted to go first, but it is very, very important that we understand that we've had a big drought. Even though it rained today, the ground is still dry. We were very blessed last year not to have a fire due to fireworks, but we don't want to take our chances and and bet on this again this year, especially with how hot it is leading up to the 4th of July. Also, not only that, if you're not a professional, you can seriously injure yourself very badly, losing limbs and all of that type of stuff. So just make sure that you're not allowing your kids to play with it or you playing with it. And please, adults, we just had this happen. An adult blew off fireworks, caused a brush fire, and they tried to blame it on kids. So if you did it, own up to it, and trust me, we're gonna find out.
Thank you, Chief. Only comment I really wanted to add to that is I wanted to thank the Public Works Director. Literally, without haste, I sent a supervisor over because we were looking for the signs, and all we had to do was request. And them guys went out there the next day, and the truth is they did the same thing with the speed. Yes, man. And I guess that's just comes from us working together. He asked me, well, where were they? And so I had one of our traffic specialists who's on the SMART team send him all the locations that we had from prior years. And I mean, he got right on it. So between the speed bumps and definitely the fireworks signs, because we were looking for those. We were hoping no one took them away because they cost. But yes, also understand this. Yes, we issue citations for fireworks. Yes, we seize fireworks. But just like speeding signs, we can't catch everybody. We try to, but you have to remember that these cars have lights on the top, there's marks on the side, and all they gotta do is glance down and see us coming. So what's happened is, in recent years, since we started putting out the signs, people have been in their backyard where we couldn't get to them, we couldn't see it, but when we narrowed it down, we were able to issue citations. So, but yes, we do citations for fireworks, and yes, the fireworks signs are out. We try and put them in each Mayor for putting that out there.
Thank you. Mr. James, I was just asked if you have a copy of your report, could you get it to the clerk when you get a chance? Okay. All right, thank you guys. Board, Fire and Police Commissioner, Chairperson Ms. Francine Anderson.
The Police and Fire Commission report.
I'm sorry. Well, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
That was just me.
Okay. We are in the process of recruiting again and testing. So the police department will be taking applications for new entry up until June 28th. And our testing will be July 6th, and it will happen in the Senior Center at 8:30 a.m. The fire department, we're also recruiting, and applications will be available until July 19th. And the testing will be done on July 20th, and that will be at the fire department. Yes, the next day for the fire department. And it's going to be at the fire station in their conference room. Yes.
Are the applications online?
Well, we were hoping that they were online, but the village website is not. But anyone interested can go on the blueline.com and they can get the applications from the Blue Line. And also the study guides are available from the vendor or from the Blue Line.
Trustee Williams.
Do you have a current flyer for that information that we could all post?
I can send you the link to the Blue Line, like I did before.
Okay. New business, financial matters. Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve transfers, payroll, accounts payable, distributions in the combined amount of $698,740.98 and authorize the finance department to remit payments.
So moved.
The move by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Any questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Trustee Coleman.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to amend the motion or have the amount amended to remove from line item 1000057260000, excluding invoice 163208, dated May 31st, 2025, in the amount of $66.84.
Wait a minute, 2020 who?
2024. In other words, Mr. Mayor, there's the entire line item can be omitted with the exception of one entry, which is as follows. The entry is invoice 163208 with the date of May 31st, 2024. And also, line item 1000057220000, invoice 1095-EST, dated March 31st, 2024, in the amount of $13,997.70.
Which one? I'm sorry. Because looking for numbers, what's the name?
Line item.
Okay, what's the name? So I can see that.
I can give you the line item.
Page 1?
Yeah.
Page 1.
Yes, page
1. Okay, is that, you said 1095 EST?
Yes.
Okay, and then the other one was, how much was that? What was the total amount for that one?
Total amount for the first one was $77,415.
Okay.
For leaving the remaining balance for the accounts payable and disbursements, a total of $607,328.28.
Well, let's vote on the first things first. Let's vote on the what you want to remove, and I'm just trying to add up 77 and how much? What's the amount that you want to remove total?
The total amount is that would be $77,415 plus $13,997.70.
Okay.
Yes. 415.
And those add up to?
Oh, yeah, and I apologize for this because we just got the accounts payable today.
Okay, I'm just asking how much is it? I'm just asking how much does it add up to?
Total is $91,412.70. Again, I apologize. We just got the accounts payable. 91,000. Again, $91,000.
Yes.
$412.70.
Okay, good. Okay, that's okay. You're removing $77,415, correct?
Plus.
Wait a minute. That's the first one, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Then the second one was $13,970, and how much?
No, sir. $13,997.
Oh, $997.
And 70 cents.
And 70 cents.
Yeah.
Okay. And that comes to $91,412.70.
Correct.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor to remove $971,412 from the accounts payable. Two itemizations. One is for the way I read it right, it would be for the HR, and the other one is $13,977.70. Is that correct? $997.70. Yeah, well, and that is from Southland? Okay. Oh, that's from Southland Development. Okay, yeah, Southland Development Authority. Okay, in regards to that, before I take a vote, what's the reason for the Southland Development Authority? So, because it's going to be asked why they're not being paid, so what's the reason that you have that you don't want to pay that money?
Well, that's a good opportunity to thank you, Mr. Mayor. The trustees not collectively, but individually come to me with line items that they choose to remove. I report and I move on behalf of them collectively or individually. So in order to answer that question, we have to defer to the trustee that brought that amount.
So they just told you to take it off with no explanation?
Well, they told me to take it off.
But I'm saying, but that's why I'm asking, what is the explanation? Because I need to tell or find out or let the vendor know why he's not getting paid.
Okay,
he or she. So that's what I'm asking. Okay. So they can know if there's something they need to do, that they whatever the case may be. Because if they already, which they have already, because they entered a invoice, services were rendered. So I just need to find out from them when they ask that question, why their invoice is not being paid.
Mr. Mayor?
Oh, okay, he's the one that made the motion.
I understand, and he said several.
Oh, y'all came together? Okay, so then you
said something. Okay. I know for a fact I have asked for a copy of the invoices or an opportunity to come in and review the invoice for the economic development efforts and the mailer cards. I haven't seen a mailer card, and I don't know what the economic development efforts are. And I've asked a number of times to be able to come in and review them. So again, we're approving things sight unseen. We've requested to come in. I know I have a number of times, and it doesn't happen. So that's all that I personally, as one trustee, am looking for. Okay. Show me the invoice, what the economic development efforts were, and show me the mailer card. Because I didn't get a mailer card.
So
and this is
you're one trustee that asked that, and that's
I'm
your
one
reason.
of them. I don't know how many others have.
No, I'm just asking. That's
my reason.
Because you guys are about to vote on something. I'm just trying to find out what it is. So you the only one that...
I don't know who else has spoken to Trustee Coleman. I personally gave you my opinion.
Okay. So does anyone else have anything other than what Trustee Williams said? Anyone else have another... Is it the same reason or is there a different reason? So I need to be able to tell this vendor so they can get paid without going to court to try to get their money. Your mic is not.
Southland, where we paid them quarterly, this $13,000. So they invoice is really not an invoice. It's what they have done per the contract that we went into agreement with. So we're obligated to pay them this $13,000, regardless if they tell us step by step what they have done. And also the mailers were for the mayors at the business at the hour event. They went to the businesses. It was nothing that went to an individual trustee or resident. They went to the businesses. And I have never received a request for you to come in and see that invoice.
Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, just because we approved the contract to pay them quarterly does not mean that we don't need to know what work has been done to get that payment. And as far as you're saying, you have never received that request, we have been told to go through the VA, not through you. So if you're not getting that request from the VA, that's not our fault. But I think I sent at least 2 requests to you yourself to review invoices, and if you want me to, I can resend you those emails. I'm not trying to be combative, but I need an appointment every Monday or Tuesday prior to accounts payable to review invoices. So we should just maybe, what'd you say? Okay, we can set up an appointment. Is that what you're telling me? Because I couldn't hear you. Yes. I know, this is what I'm asking you. So, moving forward, so we don't need to go through this again, I would like to know what is a good time to come in and review the invoices every 2 weeks prior to accounts payable. I've done it in the past, and I want to do it again for every single accounts payable. Then I won't have a question when accounts payable comes. Mondays at 3? Thank you very much. Monday at 3, thank you.
Trustee Johnson.
May I ask that that vendor be added back onto the accounts payable, please, for Southland?
Well, right now, we haven't taken them off yet. We haven't had a vote to take them off. So we have to get a vote to take that person, to take that vendor off.
Mayor, Board of Trustees, Madam Clerk, I've been working hand in hand with Eric and Leslie over the last 2 months on some very key strategic imperatives for this village. They've done a great job. What you also have to understand is we've had a lot of things to do, in particular myself catching up with emails that were sent to previous VAs from 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So you have to stand back a little bit, I'm suggesting, and just because you send an email, that doesn't magically create a project for us that we have to treat immediately.
Okay, well, I'm going to call for a vote to remove these 2 items, but I'm also going to let you know that, as I stated before, who wants to do business if every time they send an invoice that they don't get paid? However, you have a right to come in. Each trustee has the right to come in and ask, make an appointment and ask to see those particular invoices. There's nothing to hide. Invoices are invoices. I've seen trustees come in and at the last minute talk to the VA, and even somebody came in and said, it's a shame that I got to make an appointment to see the mayor. Well, I'm busy every time I'm here. I'm not just here twiddling my thumbs or waiting for someone to come in and ask me a question. I'm taking care of business every single day that I'm here with some aspect for this village. Only thing I'm saying right now is we start doing this, and later on down the road, when we can ask someone to come in, can you please come in and do business with the village? I mean, only thing, and I'm just going to say this, because this doesn't make sense. I'm just glad that payroll doesn't have to go through this.
That's right.
I'm so glad. Because if you have to beg for your check after you work and you got to tell somebody what it is that you did last week to get paid, I don't know whose job that they've been on.
They don't work.
It doesn't happen. I'm just making a statement. I'm just making a statement.
Mr. Mayor.
That doesn't make sense. So
Mr. Mayor.
I do have a motion.
Which motion are we working on right now?
You're working on the motion to amend the accounts payable in the amount of $91,412.70.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to comment. You asked me about why this was coming off of there. Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for what you said. It is an update, okay? The trustees are not being updated in any way, shape, or form. And if anybody thinks that that's a good thing, that we should just pay accounts payable without any type of updates, I'm sorry, okay? But they might speak with you every day, Mr. Johnson. Well, what kind of report are we getting to find out what's going on? And we keep hearing about, we've got contracts that get paid quarterly. What kind of we're not getting the updates. And yes, Mr. Mayor, we try to make appointments to come in and speak with you and the VA and the finance director, and we get ignored. Over and over and over. We get ignored, Mr. Mayor.
No, you didn't.
We
I was
get
busy.
ignored. You're busy, so am I. But anyway, Mr. Mayor, I would like to retract removing the $13,000 if you would give me a moment. Okay? So go, please, pay the Southland Development, but Mr. Johnson, Mr. Mayor, and Ms. Lewis, please work with the trustees and not against us. When we ask for an invoice, please provide it. When we look to come and review invoices, please let us. That's our job. So I'd like to, Mr. Coleman, if you don't mind, Trustee Coleman, I'd like to add that back into the motion and amend what you were going to amend into a new amount.
Do
and
I
thank
have
you
to
very
ask
much.
for, I have to ask for a retraction, correct?
It's his motion. He could accept the friendly amendment if he wants to. But
Yeah, of course. So the amount minus the 13,000 from
It'll be
Southland
$77,415.
is $621,325.98.
What? If you take away the $13,000, it'll just be $77,415.
Right. And when you subtract that from the total amount,
Oh, okay,
it comes
will be
out
how
to
much?
Please, y'all.
How much?
It comes out to be $621,325.98.
And how much cents?
Again?
No, the cents. How much? I got everything.
Oh, 98 cents.
98 cents, okay.
Thank you, Trustee Williams.
Thank you for your report.
So you're 621, not 325, 98.
96. Again, I just got this
So,
payroll
Mr. Bowman,
disbursement report today. So
if there has to be
otherwise, I
another
would have
motion,
given
or
you
we
a
just asking for-
copy.
right, I would treat this as, I mean, the member can correct me, but I think he's made a new motion to amend that, and
Okay,
we
do I
could
need a
take up
second
that
for that?
question. Yes, second discussion vote. Yes.
Okay, it was moved by Trustee Coleman, second by Trustee Williams, that the accounts payable be amended to $18.
Is that a motion?
Now, I'm saying I'm sorry, there was a motion to amend that, so I'm asking, are there any questions in regards to that? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Trustee Johnson?
No.
Trustee Sack? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Burns? Trustee Carter?
No.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Mayor, I think you get to vote.
I do vote?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then,
Well, may I ask why does he get to cause a tie when we have a majority?
how do you know?
Mayor, so I brought this up before, when one half of the trustees vote in favor of a motion, even though there's not a tie vote, that's a situation where the mayor gets to vote.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask, we have a legislative attorney here too. I'd like to let him speak on our behalf.
On who? On what?
On our
This is not
on my behalf.
This is not a legislation question.
Yeah, but
This is a corporate counsel
I
question.
would like to have Attorney Brad.
But this is not a legislative
I
question.
still would like to have Attorney.
That's outside the scope of his duties here tonight.
How many?
It resides with Corporation Counsel.
I still.
You can
I'm
talk to him
asking-
after the
I am
meeting.
still asking. I am still requesting that Legislative Attorney Mike McGrath speak on this issue.
You just had the corporate counsel speak, sir. That's who you are, the corporate counsel.
I'm requesting this.
Okay, thank you. No.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if the legislative council is to advise the legislative board, why cannot we ask him a
This isn't a
question?
legislative.
Because it doesn't deal with
No, this is not
legislation.
a
He is here to advise the legislative.
But this is not a legislative.
This is
question.
one of
This
the
is a
jobs that
corporate-
the trustees do, is we actually
But this is a
vote out the
corporate counsel.
finances.
This is you're in corporate counsel. You're not doing any changing of any legislation right now.
but we are working to approve or
So that's what I knew was going to happen, because you're going to have two lawyers going back and forth.
That's exactly what we're going to do.
And spend the village's money on something that ain't make sense.
If we can work together.
Well, I'm sorry, okay, but then I'm going to tell you, for the record, Legislative Council can take me to court. I'm not doing this right now.
Okay.
I asked for a motion on the floor. As a matter of fact, I'll vote yes so we can pass this and move on. So that'll be 4-2. For the,
Amendment?
yeah, no, for the, what is it, 98,000? 91,000.
Amended.
No, 77,000, I'm sorry.
To amend it?
No, to amend it, yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, yeah. So. Now I have asked for a motion to approve accounts payable in the amount is that minus? It's only minus the 77,000, right? Correct. Okay, so that'd be 600. I ask for a motion to pay accounts payable in the amount of $621,325.98.
So moved.
The move by Trustee Coleman, second by Trustee Sapp. Any questions? Madam Clerk.
Trustee Sapp? Yes. Trustee Williams?
Yes.
Trustee Burns? Trustee Carter?
Yes.
Trustee Coleman?
Yes.
Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Motion, yeah, you got everything. Motion carried. Okay. Petition agreements and actions. I am exercising my veto powers for the following ordinances. I'm going to pass them down to the trustees. Your name is on them. And Madam Clerk, you have one. The names on the rest of them. And I'm vetoing these ordinances that were approved at June 18, 2024 special meeting. And the motion to approve laptops for trustees, all that is included in there. So I'm just bringing this to your attention. I'm not asking for a vote. Just wanted to bring it to your attention, and each person does have a copy of the vetoes. And I'm sure you're going to give that to your council. Moving forward, reports of standing committees and trustee comments, budget and finance and audit, Trustee Carter, Eugene Carter.
Should have been my budget and finance meeting.
Okay.
What time and what date? Oh, okay. You'll email all of us? No, I'd like to know when it is, please. Oh.
Ordinance review, Trustee Arnold Coleman.
No report, sir.
Okay. Madam Clerk, what?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and hopefully I can speak loud enough because I thought that I was finished for today. However, about a month ago, we referred something back to committee dealing with the fair housing ordinance, specifically asking that you look at amending it again to take into consideration our need to upgrade how we handle pets in the village, and also what we say to the apartment owners to make certain that they're enforcing the law relative to residents being able to house animals in their home. In addition, we ask that you bring to your committee the idea, concept, possibility of bringing back the Human Relations Commission, because that would all fall under the fair housing amendment. So if you don't mind, looking at your next meeting, I'm going to ask that you have both of those items on your agenda.
Okay. Can I ask you, since it's an ordinance to be reviewed, could you present me with copies of the ordinances?
You have it, sir, because you voted on it.
I'm asking.
It was brought to you.
I'm asking you.
No! And someone is whatever you get.
That's rude. That is very rude. That is very rude.
No! You had it, you voted on
Madam
it.
Clerk, you really need to control yourself.
I know.
Your
You need to
emotions.
keep up with your documents.
Your emotions.
Keep up with your documents.
Madam Clerk, I already had a meeting on the housing, and I gave you a report. Where's the report? I gave you a report.
No, I'm not.
No, you told me you couldn't find it. You told me you have so much paperwork you couldn't find it. We had an ordinance review meeting on housing.
Okay.
On.
Did you get paid for that meeting then after that?
Yes, I did.
Because you not submitted.
I submitted the report and I submitted the minutes.
No.
Yes, I did. And you told me you couldn't find it.
No, sir, because you never gave it to me.
No, you told me you couldn't find it because you said you have so much paperwork compiled that you cannot keep up.
Let's move on. Let's move on. I know you was gonna go through all that, but okay. Well, all right.
You should be able to ask for a simple.
Okay. You're the keeper of records. You are the keeper of records. Surely you can come up with an ordinance. Surely you can come pull up your records and get a copy of the ordinance that you want to be before the ordinance review committee.
Public Service Committee. Trustee Raymond Johnson.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, my report for tonight, the first item is our meeting will be held right here in Rotunda on June 27th at 7 p.m. The next thing that I want to report on is that our last meeting was May 30th, which was a success. We discussed on speed bumps. Currently, we are waiting 30 more speed bumps to come in order for Public Works to place down. We also had a discussion on service forms, which I have a copy of the service form. So any services that you need throughout the village, please feel free to grab one of these service forms and fill it out and turn it into the front office. And Mayor, this concludes my report, and I'm turning it in to you. Here you go.
Okay.
And for the village clerk, if she wants a copy. But she has my
I'll
minutes.
get yours, yes, when you submit your time.
Yes, I submitted my time to you for
I
that.
have it.
That meeting.
If you
Yes, you did.
submitted it and you've been paid,
Yes.
I have it.
Thank you.
You have to give it to me in order for me to file it.
Yes.
And in order for them to get paid.
Madam Clerk. Housing and Intergovernmental Relations, Trustee Diane South.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Housing and Intergovernmental Committee will host a home buyer seminar on July 27th. The location is to be determined at a later date. Home buyer seminar, July 27th.
That's it? Okay. Community Development, Trustee Deborah Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Community Development Committee will resume in July. We started a project back in April, but unfortunately with no code department and not really any communication, the project really relates to what V.A. Johnson was talking about earlier. We drove around and looked at several projects that are boarded up or need to be boarded up, and we were going to do the research to figure out who owned them, and we don't have any access to the computer system. It would be a little bit easier if we had somebody in the office that could work with us, but that was the goal that we started in April, and we are going to resume that back in July, so perhaps we could work with you on that project, because any help that we can be, these houses that are empty and not boarded up should be boarded up as soon as possible, particularly in the summertime. And there was 3 vendors that were trying to get information or appointments. I don't know whether they've been taken care of. Jeff Morgan was here again from the commissioner of the MWRD. He's got a very important project that he needs to get started as soon as possible. And this is the second time he sat through the meeting and did not get a chance to. He's been trying to get a hold of Dante, and I think the VA, and I know the phones have been a problem, but please, we need to reach out to him. It's very important that the village cooperate with this particular plan. Old Plank Trail, I think I saw an email, sir, where you may have gotten in touch with them. They wanted you to be part of, or the mayor to be part of a video. I hope that was taken care of. And service line warranties, which is the service line program for the residents, they've been contacting me a number of times. They need someone from the village to okay the project. It's a very important project. I know you're not familiar with it, but if those, I'm just bringing it to light. They've been trying to get it done. The software and IT upgrades have been discussed for years. It's basically been Band-Aids put on fire over and over again. I understand. There's a lot of upgrades that were discussed tonight that are definitely needed. The problem is, where is it in the budget? Where's the money going to come from? We're not getting our financial information. We don't have any idea where we are financially. We need to get the 24-25 budget rolling. We need to speak with the department heads to meet with the board. It was stated before that the department heads don't need to meet with the board, but that's not the way this village has conducted business in the past. The village met with the department heads. We decided, we talked to them about their needs, and then we decided what was most important for the residents, and we have a little priority list. That's how it's been done since I've been in the village since 1987. But right now we are in June and we still have no budget, but we have a lot of departments that are looking for things to get done. So we need to get busy on that, in my opinion. So we have no legitimate budget. There's no budget reconciliation for years. We have no idea where we are. Mayor, our job is not just to do reports. Our job is also to pay close attention to the finances. It's getting more and more difficult because our questions are not being answered. Our concerns should not be ignored, and they are. All vendors should get paid, not just the preferred vendors. I totally agree. If you do the job, you should get paid. We don't have an accurate aging report, so we don't even know what vendors aren't getting paid. We only know that they've been paid past due when it comes to the accounts payable, and then we can see how long that they've been waiting to get paid. Believe me when I tell you, I know several vendors that have been waiting for several months to get paid. So we can't handpick the vendors we want to pay and then let the other vendors not get paid. Everybody should get paid. It was stated earlier, if the money's in the bank, pay the bills. I agree. I want to know what bills are outstanding. Do we have the money in the bank? Pay the bills. We're not getting the information. When we get accounts payable, we're running blind here. And that's not responsible. We're not being responsible. And rather than just say we can't approve accounts payable because we don't know where the money is, I think the finance department needs to let us know where we stand financially. Is there bills sitting on someone's desk that we're going to see in 2 or 3 months from now that's not on the aging report? The aging report, there's a reason for it. We're constantly paying late fees. That's true. We're constantly paying late fees for vendors that are not getting paid. And it's not because the trustees didn't approve the accounts payable. It's because they don't come before the trustees. The lack of respect is universal in this room. It's not just the trustees. It's not just the board. When you go home tonight, ask yourself, what part of the lack of respect were you? I mean, I asked the trustee a few minutes ago to let me know when he was having his budget and finance committee meeting because I want to know. I want to know where we stand with the budget and finance. And he basically told me I need to come up here every day and look at the door and it'll be posted. If that wasn't disrespectful, I would never tell a trustee, come and look at the door. Then you'll see when my meeting is. It's a simple thing. Send an email. Send an email.
You'll be right.
Let's be respectful. Let's just be respectful. Especially social media. We've got the mayor now constantly posting about what the trustees aren't doing. I'm going to tell you, this is all about perspective. You have your view, I have mine. You have your perspective, I have mine. And you know what? Everybody can believe what they want to believe, but remember when I tell you that we have to take reasonable action when it comes to the finances, and without the legitimate information, we cannot take reasonable action. And one day, just like you blame everything on the trustees, if the light bulb's out, it's the trustee's fault. The water bills don't work, it's the trustee's fault. Everybody at the front is telling everybody whenever there's a problem, it's the trustee's fault. And one day you're gonna say, the reason why the village is bankrupt is because it's the trustee's fault. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. You all have a beautiful night.
Since the trustee was too bankrupt.
I was hoping that, I guess I was hoping a little bit too much, that the trustees would give a report rather than an opinion. But That's too much to ask for. As I stated before, it's not going to get any better. As someone stated before, if you think that this is bad, wait till later.
Right.
So only thing I can say is I'm hoping, and I see right now that most of the trustees did give their reports, and without all this back and forth and who did what, and you're going to bring a problem, bring me a solution. But we're going to sit here and point fingers, we're never going to go anywhere. And if we're going to sit here and talk about who didn't do what or whatever the case may be, this village is not going to move forward. And sometimes I think it's done on purpose. I really think that it's done on purpose, that you're not hurting me. I'm just one citizen here. You're not hurting me. You're hurting the residents of this village by not doing your fiduciary responsibilities. But if that's what you want to do, then fine. I'm sure enough people will see the difference. And the people out here in the village are not stupid. In regards to yes, I did have a conversation. There was I guess you'd call it informational about Old Plank Trail. They did come out and they did talk to me about the concept and what's going to happen and where is it going through in the village. This has been something that's been in the works for, I think, at least 2 years now. And it's at the point now that they're doing publicity, and I even had a few meetings. I tried to see if we can get lights on Sauk Trail between Cottage Grove and 394, and I still haven't heard anything, because we're going to put a trail going down Sauk Trail where it's dark at between Cottage Grove and 394. I think we should have lights. I just don't think it should just be a trail. I think they need people that are drivers, or anyone, a motorist, need to see the people that's going back and forth. I don't know. It seems like I get redundant each and every week that we're trying to move things forward, but it seems to me that that's not happening. The budget is going to be back in the hands of you trustees by the end of this month, which will probably be the end of this week. If you know of because there's a lot of accusations. If you know that there's something, then you're part of the problem. If you know that there's a bill that's not on there and you don't say anything, and you wait until you can get on the stage and say something, then you're just as guilty as the person that's not putting it on there. So if you have a problem, or you know of a vendor that's outstanding, that's not on the aging report, please let us know. Don't wait until we have a meeting and you got 2 or 3 people there and say, oh, by the way, this is what's going on. So who are you working with? I mean, you're supposed to be a trustee in the village, not just for yourself. And the only thing I have to say is, again, I just want to reiterate about the holiday season coming up. Please be careful. I mean, fireworks are fireworks, but you let the professionals do it, because you can't get that finger back, and definitely can't, if you're near a marsh, or not a marsh, but a field, and those fireworks go up, they do come down. And when they come down, the fire's not out. So please think about that. That being said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It was moved by Trustee Johnson, second by Trustee Carter. Madam Clerk. One person's not here, so we got 2. I said one person's not here, so we have to call.
Trustee Burns? Trustee Carter? Yes. Trustee Coleman? Yes. Trustee Johnson?
Yes.
Trustee Sapp? Yes. Trustee Green?
Yes. Motion carried.